I apologize because, and I wish if everyone had looked at the agenda and brought it to my attention, I thought the purpose of the meeting was the strategic plan.
No. So I did send you an email, I believe it was on Friday, but I didn't.
About the agenda, I never saw it.
Okay. So the bylaws are not on here, and that was the intention.
Well, unfortunately, because it's a special meeting, the agenda has already been out, you cannot adjust the agenda. It's a special meeting.
The intention of the special meeting was the bylaws, and that was it. None of this other stuff was even supposed to be on the agenda.
The original was
So I just want to acknowledge that there was a motion in the last meeting and the bylaws are not.
And what I said was that I understand that, I respect that, it was a mistake on my part. But unfortunately, when the agenda was sent out, no one brought it to my attention that I was able to see. Had I seen that, before the agenda was sent out, I would have had him make the correction before it went out to the public. The chair recognizes.
okay, so since this is a special meeting and we can't add it at this time, I would like to make a motion. It's not. Oh, we haven't voted on the motion that's already on for it.
We have a discussion right now.
Right, so we
have.
So I would like to suggest, I want to make a motion. I would like to suggest that when this done, that we make a motion to put the bylaw on the next meeting. Because we can't correct it now. It's nothing we can do.
Well, according to this, we have the only action items that we have on here, like A, B, and C. Okay, so what will happen is that for the main meeting, it will be on the agenda. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so I'm saying you don't make a motion for it, but it will be on the agenda.
Because it's a motion on the floor.
Right, but I'm saying even today we can't make a motion, but it will be on the main agenda. For the regular board meeting.
I don't need to make a motion.
No.
For it to be on the main meeting.
No, you do
It's
not.
going
And
to
then
be
we're going to receive that in advance. Okay. So if there are any questions or anything,
I just want to be sure that there's no doubt, no nothing. That it would definitely be on the meeting. That's the thing. The reason I was going to make a motion after this one is so that it would be in the minutes and it would be on the meeting. So since it is something, we'll just discuss, take, let's from this, brought to our attention and show that it is there in May. Let's not discuss that.
any other discussion? So, any other discussion about the motion that's on the floor? Okay. Then can you roll call please? Yes.
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 You say I don't have to make a,
Motion carries.
you say I don't have to make a motion to.
There's no reason to it. There's no reason to work on it. Okay. And if someone would like to email me after this to remind me, make sure it's on the agenda for the main meeting, no problem. Okay, at this time, are there any public comments?
No.
Okay, strategic plan. We have our strategic plans in front of us. Okay, and we also have action items. I think we're probably gonna need some time with our strategic plan. So we just want to acknowledge that we have the past strategic plan in front of us and the one from Ann Arbor in front of us. And we discuss it at length after we go through our action items. Any comments on that? Should be in the binder.
It was in a separate binder.
Oh, I didn't bring that.
Well, I was just saying that because we have 12 people from the RFPs, it's gonna take us some time to go through the strategic plans and make a decision on how we're gonna move forward with that. Then we go ahead and we discuss it and further discuss it after we go through our action items. You agree with that? But I think it's gonna take some time, because we've gone through it, and I just wanna make sure we have ample time to go through it. But we want to allow our searchers to have an opportunity to do that, but chair recognizes.
Okay, that's the question that I have. I thought it was gonna be some discussion about if we were going to hire someone, after the street. Plan, or if we were going to do it. Is that what we're gonna discuss?
Right, because we want to look at what we have in the past and what we have in Ann Arbor and decide what route we want to go. I did have a conversation with someone about whether or not you want to put RFP out for that. The chair recognizes Trustee Williamson.
I believe in the last meeting, a motion was made and passed that we would hire a firm to put out an RFP and hire a firm to walk us through this process. I'm pretty sure that that was part of the last meeting. I don't have the notes in front of me, but I believe
I don't have it in front of me. That's part of the issue, that I don't have the minutes in front of me. So I just have to look again. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was like a pretty much.
Okay. Well, then we can have further discussion as to how we want to do it. Okay, about the RFP. So we can talk about how we word the RFP. Okay, word it. So at this point in time, we're gonna move to action items 7A.
Then I ask you something.
Yes,
And our proposed budget is coming up.
yes.
Do we have money in the budget, to hire somebody, or do we have money in our budget now to hire somebody? Because someone told me the last time that the board did that, it ran around $30-some thousand.
36,000.
So do we have money, tentatively, in the budget?
No, there's no money set aside for that. At the last discussion, when Mr. Carter was speaking, he indicated the money that's been allocated for as far as positions that haven't been filled. So our budget has not allocated funds for the RFP for the director nor for the strategic planning. So we'll have that conversation afterwards and have an opportunity to look, but it's not in the budget. We don't have money allocated in the budget for that.
Have we moved anything around to put money, for both of these?
We have conversation with Mr. Hart. Okay. And what's gonna end up happening, if we do both of these things, is we're gonna be operating out of a budget that is over allocated what we have in place, in which the state has already frowned on us going into that budget, to do expenditures for that. But we'll have to discuss it, and that's what the board agrees to do, and that's what we'll have to do. But we're operating on money that we do not have. And the state has already sent us a letter last year about that, so we'll be doing the same thing. Okay? At this point in time, with the director search, I believe I would like to bring in is Karen Miller. Is she in the waiting room?
She's on.
Oh, okay. Hello. Okay,
Hi, Rosie. How are you?
good, how are you?
Good. My colleague Brian is here with me too. I brought him along.
Okay. All right, so at this point in time, want to introduce yourself? I mean, this is my first time seeing your face. I've talked to you over the phone and asked you if you would be here to accommodate the board in order to answer any questions that they might have.
And we're happy to do that. Yep, that's no problem.
Okay, great.
So I will start off by saying I'm Karen Miller. I am the owner of Bradbury Miller Associates. I took over ownership in January of 2020, but I've been doing the executive search work for libraries for the last 9 years. Prior to that, I've had a pretty long career in Ohio's public libraries. So I have been a director of a couple of the smaller libraries here in Ohio, as well as part of the administration for both a suburban mid-sized library system and also part of the administration for one of our metros as well. And Brian here is my colleague. He's been working with me for the last year, and I'll let him kind of introduce himself briefly as well.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us. Also, Ohio, predominantly librarian and administrator. I've been in the game about 15 plus years, but we're doing the consulting work about a year now. So it's been a great opportunity. And I think a lot of my administrative experience in libraries has been beneficial to helping libraries work through the director search process. And at least the majority of my career has been as a library director. So glad to be here.
Well, thank you so much. And just keep in mind, when I asked about the RFPs, you were referred from Grand Rapids Library. So you are not new to this, so we appreciate that. So at this point in time, I'd like to turn it over to the board. Acknowledge anyone that has a question for you. The chair recognizes Trustee Witherspoon.
Good evening. So I have two questions. One, you indicated that the time frame, your typical time frame is 3 to 4 months. Is it, can that be shorter?
Not a whole lot, and there's a reason for that. Because we want to get to know you and your community and your organization so that we can answer questions effectively to potential candidates. We do a little bit of work on the front end, which takes just a couple of weeks, but it's still important work to do. We recruit for about 6 to 7 weeks, and the shortest we can do that is 6, maybe 5. But I do want to make sure that we give you the full amount of recruiting time that you would need. Just bearing in mind, the kinds of things you've been through in the last year. So I want to make sure that we give it plenty of time to make sure that we can get as many good applicants as possible. And we do recruit specifically during that time. It's not just we just post the jobs and wait for things to come in. We are active recruiters. So we spend a lot of time connecting with people, letting them know about the position, asking them if they'll consider applying or if they know someone they would like to recommend as a potential candidate instead, those kinds of things. So we use that time. And then from there, we move pretty quickly because once the position closes, we really don't want to lose applicants to other searches. Once they've had a chance to, spruce up their resume or something like that, it's a lot easier to apply for other jobs. So we don't want to lose them due to lack of momentum. So we do move pretty quickly once it closes, but we put every second of the time that we have on our timeline to use. So I'm sorry to say it's not easy to shorten it up.
Do you offer a guarantee of your placements? I didn't see anything in the proposal that spoke to that.
For a full search, we do have a guarantee in place that if your candidate would leave within the first year for whatever reason, we would come back and do it again for no additional fee to us. The only cost to you would be the cost of the actual advertising, which we would just share the invoice with you so that you would know exactly what that would cost. It's less than $1,000.
Just mentioned for a full search. Is your proposal for a full search or offer other services.
Yeah, it's for the full search. So the 20, whatever, let me actually pull that up real quick. I believe what we sent you was a full search proposal. Right, Brian?
Yep. The other search that we service that we provide is a pool enhancement. So it's all of that, what we talked about, coming, learning about you, preparing an announcement, recruiting, getting a pool of candidates, and then handing them off to the committee or the board to do the work of interviewing and selecting candidates. So
just double checking to make sure I saw the document itself to make sure I wasn't confused. Yeah, it's a full search. So yeah, it would come with the guarantee. If you decided to do that half search that Brian just mentioned, that one does not come with the guarantee since we're not handling the interviewing. That is a flat fee of $15,000 as opposed to the 27.
Anyone else? Those are your questions? Angela, those are your questions? Okay. You're aware that we had put out some requests for interest in position before. Have you seen that we had done that?
Mm-hmm. You mean you're talking about having posted the position previously?
Correct.
Right.
Okay, just want to make sure that you knew that we had already done something, so you wouldn't say, hey, you did this already if we weren't aware of it. I just want to make sure that you acknowledge that we had initially started the process. You guys, oh, you scared me. Okay, now the chair recognizes vice chair.
So since that is the case, how does that reflect our price or does it not?
I'm not sure I follow.
If we were to use the candidates that we already have chosen,
Oh, I didn't realize that you've chosen candidates already.
well,
We
didn't choose them, we interviewed them.
Okay. And I assumed that the reason that you contacted us and were looking for an RFP was simply because you weren't happy with the process as it turned out and that you were looking to start over. So is that not the case?
So we wouldn't use any of the ones that we've already interviewed. You would not use any of the ones that we've already interviewed.
Would you revisit those candidates to see if they apply according to what you have in the packet?
if we were to start the search, those folks could certainly reapply for the position, but they wouldn't necessarily like jump the line because you guys had done that initial work. But they would certainly be welcome to apply for the same process.
Sorry, I was having a little trouble hearing.
If we have candidates, and I don't know how many candidates we have, but if we currently have candidates that we want to put in a process with any candidates that they provide to be selected, that's our process. They don't say whether or not we get to or not. We just integrate our own candidates with theirs. Now, do you guys have a policy?
Are you asking that question?
Yes. I have a question.
Okay.
Do you guys have a policy that we can't recruit on our own while you guys are recruiting?
No, you'd be welcome to recruit. We certainly would never, we're not controlling in that way. We see ourselves as very flexible. So did that answer your question?
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Okay.
Recognizes,
But I thought I heard you say something when we talked about this. They certainly would be welcome to reapply. Would these people have to reapply to you in terms of public search?
Technically speaking, no, but we would probably ask them to complete a separate document. What we usually do is ask for a cover letter, a resume, and then we have a questionnaire that we develop and ask each candidate to complete and return to us. So we would just sort of move them into the process. If they are considered live applicants that you want to consider further, happy to do it. We'd still kind of instill that process though, to kind of make sure that we're fully up to speed and understand you and understand what the library is looking for, and then just sort of assimilate them into that process, if that makes sense.
So
Thank you.
right now, if we hired you today and you started tomorrow, we would be right at 6 weeks. Which would take us right to the, somewhere about 29th to 30th of June. So we would still be on target. I just wanted to.
Well,
I did four.
You said months?
You said four.
Oh, months.
3 to 4 months.
Oh, months. I thought you said weeks. Okay.
6 to 7 weeks for just.
Okay. You're recognizing 15 minutes.
So if we have live candidates that we want integrated into the process, and that happens to be someone we ultimately select, how does that affect the cost of your services?
I mean, we're still doing the labor that we have. We're still doing the recruiting. We're still doing all of the other work that goes into the process. So it really doesn't affect it, unfortunately.
So we recruit a candidate ourselves and integrate them into the process. We hire that person.
Well, then, I mean, what I would say is if that's what you're looking to do, I would do that first. And if your search process doesn't work, then come to us and then hire us. I mean, honestly, because what we're doing is managing the process as a whole. So we want to understand what you're looking for. We want to make sure that we're doing what we need to do to be able to answer questions for candidates, to kind of be your representative, to do all of the other kinds of work that needs to be done, but then also assimilate those candidates, give you our expertise and our background. One of the things that we think is valuable about being from the library world is that we know a lot of these people. And so we can tell you, like, that one has applied for a lot of jobs with us in the past and they don't really get very far because of XYZ or whatever. And like providing that expertise is part of what we're doing throughout this whole process. So you can have candidates, but we can tell you, we can give you more background and expertise from the library experience. Does that make sense?
Any other questions? Any questions? Any comments, Karen and Brian? You guys have any questions for us?
I mean, I have one.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't mean to bring up a sensitive topic, but I am interested to know where things stand with your lawsuit.
Right, and that conversation, obviously, because it's attorney-client privilege.
I understand.
I have that particular conversation with you. What I can do, and you did ask me that question, and I referred to the attorney.
Mhm.
So she responds to me, I will make sure that I get back with you on that. Okay?
That is fine. That is absolutely fine. But the one thing I will recommend to all of you, no matter what you decide to do tonight or in the future, I really strongly encourage you to hold off on starting this process again until you have some of that resolved, or at least have a good plan of resolve. Because as long as that's out there and the potential for someone to be offered the job and then lose it means you're going to really have an uphill battle finding candidates that are good for this position.
And I've already shared that with the attorney in this case, as much as I could, and I'm expressing to you as much as I can in terms
Sure.
of the client privilege.
Understood.
This is a public meeting. And again, once she responds to me, I will let you know. But
That is absolutely fine. And thank you.
I understand that and where we are with that. So any other questions, anyone?
I have a comment.
Okay. Here recognizes trustee in the school.
Thank you. So just like any other company that might have a lawsuit pending or currently in litigation, they don't stop recruiting. We are not in a position where we can stop recruiting. Whatever happens with the lawsuit, we're not privy to that information. That does not affect the day-to-day operations. That does not affect the need for a new director. I understand that may make it a bit more challenging, but it's not something that we're going to wait to. We need to hire someone as soon as possible.
I understand that. But I think the important thing to keep in mind is, as long as there's the potential for someone to not get to keep that job because of the director being, the former director being the one levying this. I'm just telling you, I've seen this happen before, and it was a very, very difficult road. And that's all I wanted you to know.
Appreciate that, but at this point, like I said, because of attorney-client privilege, we're gonna limit our comments on that.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate that, and I appreciate you guys coming on board, answering the questions for the board. Are there any other questions? Thank you guys so much, and we will get back with you as soon as we possibly can. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Brian. Guys,
It was a pleasure speaking with you, and thank you so much for accommodating us.
absolutely. Thank you for accommodating us.
No problem. Have a good evening.
Take care.
See ya. Anyone else in the waiting room? Is it? So John in the waiting room? As you said at the last meeting, that's something nice to do.
Oh, okay.
You know, if there's anyone you're trying to ask if there's anyone else in the waiting room.
I'm gonna double check.
Sure.
How would that affect the new person with the hire, with the loss? How would that affect?
That's like putting the cart before the horse. We don't know. Okay. So as I indicated to her, I reached out to the attorney. Okay. And so from a legal standpoint, I can only give you what she says regarding that. I can't answer that because I'm not an attorney. So as soon as she, just like I said to her, as soon as she responds to me, I'll respond to you guys.
But I mean, they're saying that you hired her to do your job, is that still the girl?
I don't know. I don't know. But you understand what I'm saying? I'm saying, I'm not gonna speak on that because I'm not an attorney. So nobody publicly who's seeing this can say, well, Ms. Richardson said this or that about the position, because I don't know where it's gonna go. They recognize trustee Witherspoon.
Initially, I didn't really understand what she was talking about until she clarified as she continued talking about the person potentially losing their job. But with that being said, I did talk to the executive director of the library network today and asked a question as to how was the June 30th date determined and if there's any flexibility around that date. So he did say that we can put in a write-a request to the Library of Michigan for an extension and or a waiver. And given that we don't know the outcome of the lawsuit or what have you, and to give us an additional time, I would like to make a motion that we write a letter to the State of Michigan Library requesting an extension. So we have more time to complete this process. All of these executive search committees firms are saying agree. So we need some additional time to allow us to go through this process.
I support that motion.
Discussion.
I'm happy to write it, unless you.
I'm going to write it. Okay. And I've already had conversations with them, and I've already talked to the lead person that does proposals and so forth at Grand Rapids. There's a scenario in case we have to go beyond June 30th. So this is, so I'm the person. So I would allow the board.
Okay, so the continuing discussion, so what is the timeline for that?
Create a letter. Okay, the board will have an opportunity to review it. And once the board reviews it, it will be submitted to the state. June first.
Is there any way it could be done by, when is our May meeting? Next Thursday.
26th.
Is there any way we could get it by the 26th, because we have to have a special meeting if it's June 1st, or you would just send it to us and,
No, I said by June first.
yeah, I know,
So I'm not saying it won't be done before that.
okay.
So there's no question about how we find out the criteria for this.
There's a document, let's see, I have a copy of it.
As I indicated, I've already talked to the policy.
And
The
who
walk
is that? You're not saying who that is.
is fine.
And who is she? From
Yeah, she is one of the deputy library trustees.
Jeanette, who is speaking?
I expect it's spoke to the executive director of the library network. He's not with the city.
Requirements, so we're not.
What's the turnaround? I will let you back to us. Have to hire for you time.
It's a possibility that you can use for studio strikes to that. And I also decided to talk to the attorney for libraries and say, you gotta do this. Chair recognizes.
I just want to say that, I believe that our chair will get the letter out in time. She's had experience with building for 1 year or so. So she said by June 1st, which is within the next week or so, that we will know what the letter would say, and that she recognized how important this is. And we'll get out in time. I don't know if this document you have here, if a copy of that should be given to the chair.
There's,
Would it be,
I haven't actually.
yeah, would that be a help to her in terms of putting the names together?
Yes.
Then I would suggest that you get a copy of that to her, and we are supposed to know what's in the letter by June 1st. And I think that's probably plenty of time to get it out. I don't think they'll take a long time. Since they know that June 30th is the deadline, they probably will get back to us fairly quick, so we know what our financial situation is. I don't think that they will prolong that process. But if it's getting close to June 30th, we can make a contact and find out, okay, what's our situation? I call for the vote. Motion. Do a letter.
You move that to do a letter.
No, we already made the motion.
Okay,
That was you.
the discussion,
We had a discussion.
any other discussion?
So I'm calling for the vote on the motion. Okay?
Roll call.
Roll call.
Chair Richardson,
What you say?
Vice Chair Hood, yes. Treasurer Knight Hanson,
Yes.
Trustee Witherspoon, yes.
Did she say no?
Motion carries.
She told you she ratified. I missed something. Let's move on.
So action item, let's go new board member to replace the board member that has resigned. I need a motion. President,
I'd like to make a motion that we approve Mr. Bill Maxey, to replace that board member that resigned.
is there a second?
Just a vote.
Yes.
Motion is second, discussion. Here recognized trustee.
Okay, I'll tell you why I am nominating Mr. Bill Maxey for the position. Is number one, he already has had experience of being on the library board, and so he understands a lot of procedures and things we have to do. Number two, I looked at, I believe that somebody who has shown an interest in the position before and had come forth to run for that position, that they should be the first ones to be considered. Mr. Johnson, I believe his last name, Dion or what? Okay, he was the first one that I know I considered because he came in after you with the votes. And I felt that he should have been the one to come, but Mr. Johnson said that he is moving out of Pontiac. And so he wouldn't be interested for the one. After Mr. Johnson was Mr. Maxey. And so that's why I'm bringing Mr. Maxey forward for us to consider instead of just opening the whole thing up. I just feel like we should consider somebody who was interested in the library board to begin with, and if they had some experience with the library, that we should strongly consider them. And,
I'm just saying some things too.
I do agree with that. I do agree that someone who's interested should be considered, but I think that all parties that are interested. If we are considering Mr. Maxson, we should probably consider other candidates, or at least ask if they're still interested in the position, and then take a vote. So I know there's a couple more people that we should consider.
Any other discussion? Here recognized trustee Witherspoon.
I agree. I actually am a little bit confused by the process. I did not understand that we would be nominating people today. I thought we were going to be discussing how we would select a new board member. So this is taking me a little bit by surprise that we're actually nominating someone and attempting to vote on it today. That was not my understanding. Well, I guess I didn't have an understanding of how this would play out, but this is certainly not
Any other discussion? There's a motion on the floor, there's been discussion. With the roll call.
Yeah, I was right.
I think we need clarification on the motion.
So you wanted to understand the process of how to do it.
Yeah, I did not know that we should have come prepared to nominate people today. If we're nominating, I think we should have a list of nominations and then vote versus.
Further discussion, chair recognizes. Treasurer Hackett.
Yeah, I was just going down the list. And I just believe that if one fell out, then who was next should be in line for the position.
Because people have spoken into things.
Well, because I felt they earned it. I felt they earned it. They ran, they came in just like we came in the top 6. If something should have happened, I feel that the next person in line should have been entitled to the position. They ran for it and they came in 7th or whatever. And if something happened to the top 6, I just felt it was unfair that whoever ran for it and came in next, rather than I've seen situations where they have totally ignored the person who ran for it, came in a certain position, and brought in somebody that didn't even run, didn't even place or nothing. And I just felt that we need to look at who actually came in a certain place in the position. Open it up to a whole bunch of maybe different people, or somebody that might have been last in vote is wrong. Disrespect.
So now, Ms. Hackett brought some clarification, was the process in which the board, it was coming before the board. That was my understanding that we would follow that process. And that would be the simplest based on what the people have said. And that Dion Johnson was the next person that he indicated. May I finish, please? Sure. Okay. That he indicated that he would not be available because they're not living in the same Pontiac. And the next person in line will be Mr. Bill Mason. So at this point, is there further discussion?
Yes,
Okay, the chair recognizes Trustee Willis.
we did not have a discussion in this meeting as to how we would fill this position. So again, this is being brought up without any discussion or agreement that we would follow the process we just laid out. An assumption is being made that everybody's okay with that process, and I'm not okay with that.
Okay, well, the vote will determine whether or not people are in agreement with that, and if that motion does not carry, then we can move forward to discuss something different. It's still discussion.
So what do y'all suggest that we?
No, we're not asking questions, we're just discussing.
Also discussion. So I agree with Ms. Madden, just because like you and Dion like next man, one vote first. So if indeed he was knocked down, I think that you would be entitled to that position. You know what I mean? Versus skipping down to somebody 3 votes from you and being like, you know, y'all were like what, 9 votes apart or something like that? 7. So I think that's just my opinion personally. If somebody was knocked out and you were next in line, you would be ready to come to your position. I think, you know, just in that space.
We have a discussion, can we have a roll call, please?
So we're to discuss to make a vote. Mr. Maxon's put. So you're not entertaining.
No.
Chair.
Yes.
Yes.
No. Yes.
What you say?
I say no.
Yeah, 32.
Yes. Motion carries. Motion carries. Welcome aboard, Mr. Maxey.
I'm here.
Welcome aboard.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Now. Okay. Guess we're gonna go through this process again for the election of secretary, because the last person that resigned was also the secretary. And so at this point in time, I would like to have it open for nominations for a secretary. Is there a motion?
That's the question.
Yes.
I want to know, excuse me, if either of you were interested yet, in the position. Either one of you are interested in the position.
I think
If not, then
here's what the protocol would be, is a person would be nominated and then they can either accept or decline. And then from there, you would have to vote. Okay, and we can do it, we can take a piece of paper and you can write down. And we might have a blank piece of paper, can you have that? And tear it into 5 pieces, please. Not the whole, well,
That's what I'm talking
right, the vote, it does have to be, yes. No. Chair recognizes Treasurer.
all right, I'd like to nominate Angela Allen.
Sally, do you accept the nomination?
Yes.
Okay. Any other nominations? No other nominations? I'm sorry, at the tree back. If there's no other nominations are going once, going twice, nominations are closed. Okay, we accept the position? Yes. Thank you. All right, so we took care of that. Now, we're at board comments. Let's start with this action. And then we'll go to this first.
Okay. You know, I think the Pontiac Public Library is a diamond in the rough. I think that we can take this library to a level that it has never been before. I think there's enough ability, time, initiative around this table that we can take this library to a level that we're proud of. But it's going to take teamwork, and it's going to take us working together to do that. I am looking forward to taking this library with programs. And, you know, I've since learned something about this Witherspoon. I found out that she has experience in HR matters, and she could be very helpful with that. I've also seen that she's kind that would be eager to research and look up things and bring information to us that would help us get to that point. You know, Ms. Allen, I don't know if you got your program off, but you have ideas like you wanted about the gun or police, and I don't know if you got a chance to do any work on there. And I just know, of all of us, Ms. Richardson has the most experience and knowledge as it comes to the library and library business and things of that sort. In the conferences, I found out that I've never been to a conference, so I didn't get a chance to learn more because of COVID hit. And I did not get a chance, so I am going to, if my food cooperates, I am planning on going to the conference, and that might be something some of y'all may think about twice, that you might want to go to that conference in June. But the potential is here. If we were, as a team, we could make this library something that we would be really proud of. And so I'm looking forward to working with everyone in that capacity, and that we put our hand to the plow and we do just that. I'm going to do what I can. And I just look forward to working with us with this.
And Chair recognizes Trustee Anderson.
Thank you. So I echo many of Trustee Treasurer Patch's comments. I do think that we all have a tremendous amount of talent and knowledge that we bring to this board. And I too want to see us work together collectively. I will say that I feel as though my talents, efforts, and information has not been accepted by Mrs. Richardson the way I would hope that it would be accepted. And I hope that going forward, you understand that if I'm bringing forward information or if I'm suggesting something, it's not because to make you look bad, it's not to take away from your knowledge whatsoever, but it is only to move the library. I have nothing against you and no reason to want to make you look any kind of way. It is about the library and having the library. So I really hope that going forward, I get a sense of being, of you, Mr. Madam Chair, being more receptive to our comments, input, and knowledge.
You want me to respond to that, or you can take it? Okay. All right, the chair recognizes Secretary.
No,
Chair recognizes Vice Chair.
I do agree, there is a wealth of knowledge at the state, experience and education. And I do feel like we also have to ensure that mirrors is there. Because we all do have a thing. We are all strong women and now gentlemen. And we do have an opinion and we do have resources that we would like to share and to make this library great. I just feel that we're 5 months into this, we've got very little accomplished. And I feel like we can do so much more. We can do so much more. We owe it to our community, we owe it to our children to do that. So I hope that from this point on, I know I have, as you can see, I have a list of ideas. So I hope that, and I know Angela and Ms. Jefferson has ideas. So I just hope that we can just move and we get this ball rolling now. I know, we've got a couple of hiccups and a couple of things that, unforeseen things that happen, but it's time to be busy. I'm excited. I'm still excited about it. I'm still excited about the library. I'm still excited about the programs. I'm still excited about this board.
Thank you for your comments. I'd just like to say that the library has always been a passion of mine. I have seen this library grow so much. Unfortunately, we've had some hiccups along the way. But the reality of it is how I feel is that if the board is working collaboratively, if we have ideas, just like I would come to, Miss Allen came to us and said she had an idea about the gun violence, and I said, okay, why don't we jump on this and do this? Miss Rita Varian had some ideas, and I said, okay, let's do this. Miss Hatcher had some ideas. We said, let's do this. But Ms. Whitfield, what happens with you? Okay, it's not a discussion, it's just how I feel. Is that rather than come to me and say, hey, why don't we do this, or have you done this, or something like this, you take it one yourself, and then you bring it back to the entire board. Like, I just found that example would be like, I just found out, remember the library network. Well, it paid thousands of dollars for them. We discussed it, and we talked about how we can utilize them in terms of getting books from other libraries, how we have resources and connecting with other libraries. So it's nothing new. If you come to me and said, can we talk more about it or something? Absolutely, not a problem. But just like things that you do, you do them and then you bring it back to the board rather than having some dialogue. I am open to anything, okay, because it makes sense to me that we work together to do whatever we need to move this library forward. Like I came on board, our numbers quadrupled when I first came on board. There were people that were seeing the light, they didn't even know the library was open. Okay, they didn't even know we still had a library. We have made so many leaps and bounds since then. And I think one thing else that I said was that there had been no renovations to this library since 1960. And we've moved way past that. Okay, so I'm excited about that. Ideas in terms of every month there's something going on in the country or in the world that we should acknowledge, just like this is, we have Cinco de Mayo, but it's also Asian and Pacific Americans that are here. We should have something there. Come June is Black History Month, music. We should be doing something there. There should be something always going on. In fact, reach the kids. We should have something going on all the time. So my passion is that we have something going on all the time. So people not only know that we're here, but they're running over like they do for the Halloween or for Christmas or for the Tea Party, that they're so phenomenal that every room in this library is filled up all of the time. And there's always something going on. But we have to work collaboratively. Collaborative means that we work together. We have dialogue with one another and not just separately. I'm open to all of this and I'm excited. And I'm looking forward to all of us working together to make this a better place. I mean, this place had been painted with carpet down here. Okay, all of this is something that's fairly, this carpet, there was just like the tile floor out there. That's what was in here. This room had not been painted or anything else. Carpet upstairs and all of that. So there's so much more we can do. And I'd like to get with some of you in terms of grants, because I just got a whole host of grants that can be applied for. So I hope we will do that so we have money to pay for all of the things, and we will get prepared starting for our 100th anniversary. Okay, so that's really important. So now's the time to start preparing for that. So we have so much to do. So on that note, what I like to do is I like to make sure that we can either continue with our conversation about the strategic plan while we're open to the public, or we can talk about this after the meeting is over. Your pleasure. The strategic plan.
After the meeting is over, it's still a public meeting because you have a quorum. If four of us are talking,
If three of us are, not four, has to be three of us are talking.
That's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
so
We can't talk about
no,
this.
I'm saying if, but saying some people you can do their watches and stuff, and then they want to go. So if they want to stay around, we can go ahead and continue, as I indicated in the beginning, to talk about the strategic plan and the RFP. Is that what we'd like to do? Okay, that's fine. Then let's go back to our RFP. I don't think everybody has their copy in their binder. I see everyone has hers. Mine is in the other card.
Card is in our binder.
You have a separate binder.
Oh, I didn't bring it.
There's your binder. That's your binder right there, Angela?
Yes.
Okay, so you two can share. Oh, okay. So I can share with you, and so we can move forward on that. Okay, so what we need to do is, we talked about the strategic plan. We have the copy, the last copy that the library had, and then we have a copy of what, Ann Arbor has taken. Okay, so if we look at those, and if you want to do RFP, just keep in mind that if you do an RFP, again, we're gonna have to amend the budget. And we may look forward to getting another letter from the state of Michigan saying that we're operating out of other money. Okay, and that, the state frowns on that. They did send a letter, what was that, a year ago, back in February or March. I didn't bring it with me. But there was a, you have a copy of that letter?
No, it wasn't a year ago.
Mr.
So 2
Maxey,
years
years
ago.
ago.
2 years ago?
2 or 3 years
Mr.
ago.
Maxey said join us because he's a member of the board now. So could you put a chair in there, Maxey?
Right here, here's one right here.
So her
No, I said my
I forgot about the lid. You want to join us now, Mr. Maxon?
Yeah.
Pull up.
Okay.
This chair is more fitting.
Oh, okay. So,
Oh,
one of the things we talked about, and again, my apologies, but I don't have it. And that's something we have to deal with in terms of our minutes. And then being posted and so forth. So do we want to, again, when you talk about an RFP, the last RFP, as the statute indicated, was $36,000. That's not something that was in the budget. Okay. And then if you're talking about another, somewhere between $15,000 and $27,000, so that's only with the one library board. So we also have 2 others. So. Okay, so, I mean, is there anything in either one of these that we had before that anybody would be interested in? I thought you guys would have most by now. You've had it for a minute. I thought you might have some notes in terms of what you would be looking for in an RFP. I'm sorry,
so did we make a decision to do an RFP?
yes. And so what I'm asking at this point, what is it you would like to have in RFP? You're recognizing trustee Witherspoon?
So, when I've worked on strategic plans in the past, it's typically the board that's doing it, outside community participants as members of the staff. That's a lot of people to try to get to work on one document, and I've always found it helpful to have someone facilitate meetings such as that to help us to move through developing a strategic plan. So otherwise, things can get, it could be a very slow and tedious process if we don't have somebody helping us stay on track, one, and then actually coming up with a plan overall. So, I mean, I just worked on a strategic plan for another board that I'm on, and we did have an outside consultant walk us through it. Now, that person,
How much did they charge?
there was only $4,000. because we didn't put all of the heavy lifting on the organization. And she came with a template, helped us walk through the ideas, get it uploaded in the template. And then we kind of moved forward from there, and made sure it was aligned to the budget and things like that. So I'm sure if we go to Bridgeport Consulting and say, hey, we want to do a strategic plan, give me all you got, it's going to be $36,000. So I would like to see what services they offer to help. And it may be a la carte. It may be something that we're not saying, hey, we want you to do the whole thing, go out and do, you know, community surveys and stuff like that. We might be able to do and facilitate our own community surveys. But we do need someone that's knowledgeable with the process and walk us through.
Especially during the summer when they're coming out and we already have a template and we have different strategic plans in front of us already. So we can save ourselves some money. You're already here, right?
I am already here. However, it's a heavier lift than I'm used to. So,
I agree to your comments. It's hard to get staff people. Not staff, but before to work. But in the beginning, I can appreciate your experience and background. You just don't OJT. Not that you have the knowledge to move forward. You cannot OJT on a strategic plan, particularly when it comes to community engagement. Let me give you an example. We worked very hard on a promise zone. We had $1.4 million. One person committed because we wanted experience in including working with the school district, which is far apart. I don't want to get to that. And I don't blame my associates because they had moved forward on so many positive things. But that background and experience, I would love to see us spend that $600,000 that we have as outlined in our community engagement within the strategic plan. Because we're threatening to maybe taking money back to Lansing. Secondly, the help. I hope governments really understand that the number one problem in this community is health. It's health. African American men spend 65,000 die every year accidentally. That's the young cancer, blood pressure, stress, and whatever. We can't afford that. We have to get a strategic initiative through this library for health. We only had one meeting, and that was it. Health should be included in that. So, last but not least, is our youth programs. We had one program. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Had to do with math. Oh, I can't think of it now. Brian former board members had a 8 weeks of robotics. That's because of background experience. These are the sort of things within the plan. But again, I point to the fact that it's no time for OJT. I'm hearing what you were saying, and I think I would enjoy working with you on strategic plans. Because the 4 years I've been through many strategic plans. Jesse, what to do. And this board is too far ahead to guess. We've always made movements forward.
Okay, so it appears to me, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody on the board, that you would be over the subcommittee that would be working with the template, and once we decide with RFP, with the strategic plan, how we move forward. Am I correct on that? Are you supposed to be saying you're shaking your head? I'm the mother figure now.
No, I agree.
Okay.
I totally agree.
Okay.
I felt that the $27,000 is the way we
Where is the $27,000? Which is wrong money. 36 there.
Okay, that's even worse. Okay.
So
Right. So I feel like if we can get Trustee Shilling
to start on this process. And then we also have a template right in front of us also. So we have this, we have her expertise, and we have her person that she said on the first. Well, I don't know if that person did it because they knew. It's a start. I think it's a start. It's a start. It's a start. It's a start. So I mean, you know, I'm big on don't raise your please. Okay. So the will is here, the will is there.
So I'd like to see everybody new, who will have to come back together. The board meeting, if you go back through this is homework guys. Go back through this whole strategic plan, one in our, yes, and see if there's anything in there that we want to have as an enrichment of what we want for the library. Then come back and you can share it through an email to Chanel. Okay. And then Chanel can come back with her subcommittee, okay, and take it from there. But right now, we would just have almost like a generic RFP to send out, unless the board wants Chanel to research and get back with the board. These are the 3 organizations or firms that I have contacted, okay? And see how we go there, or we put RFP out. But we voted for RFP. So if we voted for RFP, why are you looking at your wife?
Well, it's telling me it's time to stand up. Well, watch
Well, stand up. Stand up. Yeah.
It tells me when it's time to stand up.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I would go and put the RFP out. So is that something you would like for Edwin to put out and show it to us, or before it goes out, or you would like to create one and then send it to us, and anybody want to tweak it or something like that? But we want to just hurry up and do this, so we can have our strategic plan hopefully underway before July 1. Chair recognizes.
Okay, I don't want to see all that dumped on Chanel.
I said with her something.
No, I'm going to say something. So, if we could have a 3-member subcommittee or less, if someone is willing to work with Chanel on this, to come up with the items to go into the RFP, why don't they volunteer now?
Mr. Maxey said he wanted to do it on that or no?
Well, I'm thinking, we did not meet the old strategic plan, and it was solid. It was solid. Yeah, all ideas we put hours in time. Why not look at those and see what we might exchange? I would say add to it to make it more fluid. At this time, I cannot see John Q. West coming in with a strategic plan. And we've never, this is not traditional. This is special. And never talked to us. And even if they did, I think it's enough in the old strategic plan, addition and deletion, to where we could really cut the time and be more effective rather than take someone else's RFP.
But Maxie, she asked you, she made a statement about, do you want to work with her on the subcommittee for the strategic plan? Are you willing to work?
Yeah, I said that.
Okay, so we got 2. Is there one more that wants to volunteer to work on this? Anybody else want to work?
You want to choose somebody?
Well, they didn't volunteer, so I don't choose. They didn't volunteer.
Well, anybody want to leave the room and be
So
on there?
I can add it. I'll add Edmund to it. I think he should be part of it. So I just want to be clear, what you guys are wanting me to go back and do is
What I'm asking you to do
okay.
is to initially put together an RFP. You guys voted on that. Okay. To be sent out. And specifically say what it is you're looking for them to do. Okay. And that would probably include reviewing the past strategic plan and any ideas that you have, okay, that you want to add in and provide some of those ideas that you're looking for them to support you with. Okay, so that's what it looks like in your subcommittee with the email with everybody. And if anybody has anything in addition, they can give to you and then you put it out, RFP.
You work with the
So, okay, so when you do that, and, you think you would have that ready for the board meeting? I don't think you need next week, do you?
That's next week.
Is it?
That's next week. No, it's 2 weeks.
Oh,
No, it is next week.
listen, today's the 16th.
Yeah, could you have guys, everybody now?
Right next week.
Listen, yes or
I
no?
want to say yes, but it's.
But if it's a no, say no.
You guys want to, you used to have this by next week?
No, I'm sorry.
And
That's
what
by
do you
next
want to
week.
have it next Monday?
I'm available on Monday, so we can get it done next Monday.
Next Monday.
Okay, so on the 26th is when we will initially, on the 25th or the 24th, you guys will have it to email to everybody. So on the 26th, we'll put it back on the agenda. If anybody has any questions or comments about it, we can talk about it on the 26th and then have Edmund send it out on the 27th, post it on the 27th.
An RFP.
not to plan, but to design,
The RFP.
the RFP to reach out, like whoever worked with her and whoever group she was with, for that person help move the people along. Can you meet on Monday?
What is
Because I owe both of you to crack each other. Oh, June.
Okay, that's settled, those, they're gonna meet.
Who's it? That's what I'm going to say.
Mr. Maxey said he couldn't be on Monday.
Oh, that's our subcommittee, that's not mine. Yes. Okay, and Anthony says it's good on Monday, so, okay, it's been decided, so that RFP will go out on, by the next board meeting, anyone that has any comments after they submit it to everybody. Then make sure you send it, so that the board sees what the comments are on that, and we're done with that. Any other questions or comments? Okay, I will contact Mr. Carter and ask him about, I'll give him an objective figure, perhaps the strategic plan. And you guys can decide whether or not you're interested in moving it forward. If you have the RFPs, the other two people initially, freelance recruiter, his budget was in here, and Mr. Lisa is also, he wasn't able to attend, and Mr. Esmer is out of town. So if you have anything else you want to say about those two proposals, I'm going to make sure that again, check with the accountant, if we are in terms of the budget. Anything else about that? I finished the one part about the strategic plan. I said, I finished that. Now we're going to talk about me talking to Mr. Harden about budget for the RFP for recruiting. Okay, this is already done. Okay, we finished our comments. I need a motion to adjourn the meeting. So moved. Discussion.
No, we didn't.
No, she didn't do it. We're gonna finish up tonight, yes.
Okay.
Chair,
Yes.
trustee Allen,
Yes.
trustee Maxey,
Yes.
trustee Weatherspoon, and treasurer Manette.
So everybody else is a trustee except Ms. Knapp.
Oh, I'm sorry. Secretary Allen.
Okay. All right.
Time. Chasing.